do your part. You can't help the world when you're playing around and race games saying you're black but you're really brown. Doing only for self. Mama Earth needs help. Grandma's church, even DTs need help. What can you do? Don't worry about me. Hey, you got life's chores, cause of ING3. Been doing my part, building the mental art for the Aquarian age. Before it start, ask Prince Alima Bay and Sister Sakina, who brought them to Toronto to wake up the sleepers. If you think not, you better go ask God or Grip, who's giving to you the pop chakras a lift. You gotta do your part. You can't help the world when you're playing around and race games saying you're black but you're really brown. Doing only for self. Mama Earth needs help. Grandma's church, even DTs need help. What can you do? Don't worry about me. Hey, you got life's chores, cause of ING3. Been doing my part, building the mental art for the Aquarian age. Before it start, ask Prince Alima Bay and Sister Sakina, who brought them to Toronto to wake up the sleepers. If you think not, you better go ask God or Grip, who's giving to you the pop chakras a lift. Bobby Hammett came too, so did Boy Graves. Respect and love you, though you died from AIDS. Just rent a library room, don't cry for space. Who's gonna help the world? We can't escape the space. Most are conscious, but not cognizant. Won't stick up a pork chop or rob his aunt. When it's time to help the world, all I hear is can't. Many of y'all are coming back as birds and ants. Trust me, I study the Buddhist and Brahmin shaman. Help the world by activating pioneer carbon, DMT dripping like a leaky faucet. I help the world when I sleep, no need to force it. Just doing my best even when doing my reps. Help the world sleeping, I'm taking my steps when I'm wearing a fez. Nationals breaking their necks to witness the renaissance. Staring in a trance, I do so much and willing to do more. Don't believe me, ask the youth from Palmer Court, ask the youth from Malvern and hear what they say. Ask the youth from Rexdale or ACHA. Hey.
My lyrical hang time's worse than the Willie Lynch curse. Cause I'm not coming down till I finish this verse. Demons disperse till I'm fight curve. Eat dirt till my feet hurt. Ashes to ashes, soon return to the earth. Stand for better and redirect the worst. Drop some knowledge on a dime beat to quench your thirst. Thanks to sus, we remain in the game with a torch high. I ain't checking up another track, don't ask for a while. It's time to feed a rapper to the fire, kick and scream. The same way a spirit does when you steal a dream. The more we want for stuff, the less there is for us and we. Minimal I in this building community. The temperature rises now the ice age melts away. Prophesize by KRS-One, these are the times and days. This is the cycle that I missed because I was too young to jump in. Now I got enough artillery to keep dumping. Fire Marshal Ho Chi Minh, let me show you something. Duck for cover, just can't stop flying, stagger like you're drunken. We got aces round here, so keep the ones flunking. Rich like a whack rapper like you need some pumpkin. Ho Chi Kutcher, fucking call me Simon Butcher. Commercial rapper, decapitated envelope pusher. Rapper inquisitioner, feed him to the fire. Lead him to the heat to watch the flame raise higher. Picture painted, but the spirit not tainted. See us in a pheasant, fall back like you fainted. Feels like we've been here from the ancient. Experienced so much challenges to build my patience.
Islam Moors. Peace and love. Here once again, Canaanland Moors class. And it was so crazy. It was so crazy on Sunday that we're going to just go in some more because it was crazy on Sunday. The art of peace. For all you killmongers out there, all you killmongers, that's your favorite guy in the whole stuff. All you guys, this for you guys. To all you. The art of peace is not an object that anyone can possess, nor is it something you can give to another. You must understand the art of peace from within and express it in your words. And then you heard the track before, express it in the words. To injure an opponent is to injure yourself. To control aggression without inflicting injury is the art of peace. Which goes back to what we were talking about on Sunday with just moving people with the finger. I don't have to make you bleed or anything like that. Just move you with the finger. Peace, be still. Move you with the finger. When your eyes engage those of another person, greet him or her with a smile, and they will smile back. This is one of the essential techniques of the art of peace. All the screwface crew who see their brother and don't even give a head nod, much less a Islam and all of that. All the non-head nodders that just look at their people and then they have this war thing going on inside them that they don't even know how to control. This rage. They'll do it themselves. They got so much rage. But they'll never take it out on that foreign occupier that has them mad. They'll take it out on Moors. They'll take it out on people's grocery store that never did nothing to them. They're going to take it out on teachers trying to help them. They're going to take it out on everybody. Or just bottle it up and then blow off, go nuts. Just because. Straight away from the art of peace. And once again, we have to mention that peace is one of the 5 principles of the Moorish Americans. And those 5 principles were brought by the noble prophet Drew Ali. He came and he told y'all that you're not Negro, black, colored, and we go through all the stuff. The Art of Peace, a very essential read, especially for Moors, because peace is one of our principles. War is not one of our principles, but everybody got Art of War book. Everybody got Sun Tzu, me included. We know about the art of war. But when we study the art of peace, realize why Noble Drew Ali said love is the first principle, because it only makes sense. It only makes sense. Common sense. Common law sense. Right, again, Drew Ali, remember. In the art of peace, a technique can only work if it is in harmony with universal principles. Right? So today, speaking about the art of peace, a technique can only work once it's in harmony with universal principles. So this morning, we already know every morning, 7:30, we're up at the gym with the young Moors, just because they want to be basketball guys. No problem. You be basketball guys, but we want to see report cards. So we'll see who brings report cards tomorrow morning. But one of the Moors this morning, shooting around, you know, missing, in and out, toilet bowl out, toilet bowl out, toilet bowl out. I'm like, hey, when you catch the ball, make sure the lines are in line. So when you shoot, you stop getting toilet bowl. And then he's out and then feeling himself. So we're going to see tomorrow morning now, because that was at the end of today when I told him that, because I let him brick for the whole time. Just to show him. See all those bricks that you were throwing up? All those bricks you were throwing up was because you weren't in tune with the universe when you were shooting. You're trying to be a comet and do your own stuff. Comets are dying stuff. Those are losing their light. You don't want to be those. You don't want to be those. So the art of peace can only work once the universal principles are in order. Such principles need to be grasped through mind, pure consciousness. Selfish desires thwart your progress, but mind not captivated by notions of victory or defeat will liberate you. Mind fixes your senses and keeps you centered. Mind is the key to wondrous power and supreme clarity. And then go get the Mind book, Dr. Malachi York, since I've been just selling everything for next to nothing. You might as well go get all that stuff. Go get the Mind book. Dr. Malachi Z. York L. You can see there's another reason why they have him where he's at right now. But what he was presenting to the public. Mind is the key to wondrous power and supreme clarity. Supreme clarity. Only thing that's going to get you supreme clarity is history and law. Remember, laws of science. So we're talking spiritual when we say history and law, not just talking historical. We're also talking metaphysical and occult when we say law. Seeing Freemasons have jurisprudence book because it's not about law. And we already know who taught them. Wondrous power. You know what wondrous power is? If your opponent strikes with fire, counter with water, becoming completely fluid and free-flowing. Water by its nature never collides with or breaks against anything. On the contrary, it swallows up any attack harmlessly. Keep your hearts pure with what? With water? Okay. Again, love is the first principle? Okay. Islam brother Santra L and all the ex-Mars turning into stuff that they never knew that they were. Islam to all you Mars. Because those ones are pretty crazy. Mars are waking up in all different ways of waking up. You're not just waking up, know thyself. And they know that they're not Mars. They know that they're galactic beings and they were sent here because they have the. When Mars get this info. Oh, this is a good one for all the sucks, for all the crybabies. There is no place in the art of peace for pettiness and selfish thoughts. Rather than being captivated by the notion of winning or losing, seek the true nature of things. Your thoughts should reflect. Hold on again. Let's just take a stretch and do that one again. Because we need that one right there. There is no place in the art of peace for pettiness and selfish thoughts. Rather than being captivated by the notion of winning or losing, seek the true nature of things. Your thoughts should reflect the grandeur of the universe, a realm beyond life and death. If your thoughts are antagonistic toward the cosmos, those thoughts will destroy you and wreak havoc on the environment. And then you realize that, oh yeah, every living thing is bound to accord. When you start putting things together, realizing that, oh, there's a bigger thing going on here. There's something way more grand going on than what's on the surface. Seek the true nature of things. Seek the true reason as to why. Your thought should reflect the grandeur of the universe. Your thoughts should reflect the grandeur of the universe. So as soon as you realize simple-minded people, you know that they're not grandeur, so it's not even. You're on the path. Nobody else on the path. You're on the path. They're passing you on the path. If you're saying you're tired of all that black and all that stuff like that, you're not African, you never came on a slave ship, you talk to your grandma. Grandma said that we never came here on a slave ship. And grandma should know because grandma looks like an Indian. So if grandma looks like a black Indian, and she said we never came on a slave ship, then how are we going with that? And then brain opens a little bit more. A little bit more energy is flowing. Mind expands. So if you didn't come over in a slave ship, We always been here. Then Noble Drew Ali said we're from Missouri. And Noble Drew Ali said Moorish Empire. And mine's even more now. Now you're looking at the world because now you're connecting the history over there that you heard about, that you never ever had any type of connection to because you thought that that was some people over there. Not realizing that the people over there and the people from over here are the same people. And that same culture, and they built all the same stuff, just so that there's no confusion as to what's up. But people are confused. How are you confused? George James told you the Moors were custodians of the ancient Kemetic culture. All right. Then Dr. Ben told you we were calling ourselves Moors. Then Dr. Clark told you you're not black. You're calling yourself Portuguese stuff. And you're not colored. And you don't have a nationality, dumbass. So what are you going to do about it? Don't worry about me. I'm 80 or whatever. I'm out of here. Nationality means nothing to me right now. But all you people over there, you better start thinking and stop letting all these sellouts control your life. All these dirty Moors. You better get with a group of Moors and start doing what you should have been doing. And again, it's not no warning. The world's going to be here. There ain't no stuff's been around billions of years or whatever. Like, this ain't nothing. Billions. Our little sliver in time. We're jumping up and down like we're somebody. Not nobody in this flesh. You're just husk on this. Square, flat, triangle, whatever, doesn't even matter. But since we're in the flesh, might as well get some knowledge because, hey, even the Christ said, knowledge is why people die. So, okay, so get knowledge and then you won't die. It's a real simple concept. So if anybody has questions, canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Send your questions. Q&A Tuesday. Remember, go get that Art of Peace because it's real. And don't forget, 9:30 tonight. Eyes wide open. blogtalkradio.com. Don't forget. Another funny one too. So last night I got a text. Pharaoh Allah, the Islam guy. Pharaoh Allah, exposing all false religions and doctrines, part 5. The Moorish Science Temple exposed. Sunday, April 29th at 1 p.m. Eventbrite and all that stuff. And then 1:29 today, canceled. You guys, time's up. Time's up, like OC said. Big up to Bigger Than the Crates. Just remember, time's up. Canceled. These men said, forget it. Oh, yeah. And then speaking about SETI, so I heard a story, right? So Black Power guys, you know what I mean? They do their thing, you know what I'm saying? They go do their lectures, they're repping their Black Power or whatever. Brother Setnra, you know, we got a little spot that we go to out there. Atiola's vegan spot. So, so the more it goes up in the joint, you know what I mean, get his food or whatever like that, you know what I mean? Stores like tripping, you know what I'm saying? Stuff's going on in the store or whatever like that. What's wrong? Why is everybody excited or whatever? Yo, you didn't just see SETI? SETI? Where? This man looked back to see if it was SETI. SETI has his Trayvon hood on, drawstring pulled. You're the cracker guy. Hiding, leaving Atiolas. These guys, these are the ones. The hell out of here. We have a prophet that came. Put all the BS in check. Quick, fast. This is not some joke stuff like we told you. SETI came here 3 times that I know of. No black guys. Who I know all the black guys, no black guys called me. None. Not one black guy called and said, hey, no, SETI's here. Really? You guys don't promote stuff no more? What happened to stuff being on the radio and all that stuff? What happened to flyers going out and all that? Well, you guys just do word of mouth, email lists? That's how you do lectures now? Okay. Now we get it. Now we get it. Now we get it. Question. Is there a way to continue my old business without invoking the straw? I keep running into situations in which old business, i.e. driver's licenses, bank accounts, SSN, how should the corporation, i.e. DMV bank cards, etc., be put on notice that the entity is not me? If I'm supposed to keep old business the same, how would I go about accessing all accounts, etc., without invoking the straw? There is a limitation. Is there a limitation to the do old business in your own name statement Islam? I also have land in the straw that the county is also claiming to have control over. It's in the family name of Taylor. Would every member listed in the estate have to declare the jure allodial title separate from and clean hands from the colonists? All right, so the second part answers itself. See immediately where your mind went? Well, if this is our land, then everybody on the land should have the name to represent that this is their land. If they don't, then it ain't that. Obviously, it's not their land. Just like that. Because your stuff, it's not like, you know, you're trying to get something or you're trying to claim something that's not, it's your stuff. Everybody declare. Everybody's piece of quote unquote land is now going to be claimed by a L or a Bay, Aboriginal, Indigenous. This is the family's land. Your granddad, whoever, L Bay, that passed it down to whoever, and then who passed it down, they passed it down, and everybody got L Bay. So these people don't have jurisdiction in those affairs. How they got jurisdiction? What taxes? Taxes for what? Oh, because, well, everybody, they send a letter. IRS is going to send everybody who has land in the Taylor name a letter. Everybody's going to reply with a suit on them, trying to steal their land under the guise of some land tax BS that's corporate activity that has nothing to do with Aboriginal and Indigenous birthrights. But again, the issue is going to come in with, everybody really taking it that serious, or figuring that, hey, it's our land, we've been on it, everything's cool, and then they just get lax until, condo people come or something like that, and they start to bring the tractors and just take the stuff. Then they're going to want to be Moors. Then they're going to want to do the stuff that, while we're chilling, what we should be doing. So that way there's no disruption, which again goes back into the first thing about the old business and the new business. Because the new business is a disruption. Not on you, on the stuff that you thought that was you. Saying national and birthrights is a monkey wrench in that. Because now that really isn't supposed to be functioning. But through threat, duress, coercion, and adhesion contracts, stuff still functions. That's just what we were born into. That's what it is. Nothing to question. It's how do we maneuver now that we realize what's going on. And the statement of do all business in your old name is relative to the lesson of contracts and learning how to live within contracts. But at the same time, recognizing that as Aboriginal and Indigenous, you got a right to contract with or with whoever you choose to contract to or not contract with. So in the concept of learning to live within contracts, the way to continue old business without invoking the straw is all rights reserved ex relation. That all you have is information on that name, on that account, on that SSN, on that license, on that DMV bank card account, whatever. All you have is info on that, but that's not you. The logo on the shoe isn't the ball guy that has the business. That's two different stuff. Okay, it's the same thing. But we're learning how to live within it until we get to the place of not having to deal with it, which goes back again to why we're supposed to be having a body politic amongst ourselves so that we can have these driver's licenses, bank accounts, SSNs, whatever like that, through our own stuff. Chinese do it. They got their own bank. I see a Bank of India over there. Okay, so they got their own bank, and then they got their own little community, and then nobody's not asking, hey, how come only Asiatics and Europeans use the main banks? But all these other people, they got their own bank. What's Bank of India doing here in quote unquote Canada? Oh, they're exercising their sovereignty. Because as a nation, they should have a bank. You know what I mean? Then they build a bank for their nation. They're part of the stuff. They know how to work, how to live within contracts. So they contract in order to get their little building or whatever like that to say that's the bank for their nation. We not are, should, or could have did that. We been did that with Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey. And you have nothing today. And all you hear is people talking, they give honors to them or whatever like that, but they're not giving you the goods. John Henry Clark told you, you're not Negro, black, colored. You need a nationality. The next logical thing that should come to anybody's mind is, okay, well, what is this nationality going to be? And then you're going to scope all of the people who claim that they knew something about your culture. And you're going to find only one guy told you what your nationality was. Nobody else told you anything about nationality. They told you into quasars and tunnels underneath the ground. People are going to be there, and never told you nothing about nationality. One individual told you about nationality. And then he said the same three stuff that Noble Drew Ali said: Negro, black, colored. He didn't go into African American and all that stuff like that. He didn't go into none of that. Remember, this is when African American was around and Pan African and all that stuff was around. He never called none of those identities. He specifically said Negro, black, colored. Only one person talked like that. One. You think he wasn't studying that? And again, he was Clark. So he already knew what was up. Told the people. He couldn't come out and say it. You know what that would do to his credibility? If he came out there and said, hey, Noble Drew Ali told you you're not Negro, black, colored. Why are you calling yourself colored? That's whatever. Black tells you how it looks, but it don't tell you who you are. If you had Noble Drew Ali in there, his stuff would have been, he wouldn't be nobody that anybody respects or anything right now. Just ask anybody who start teaching about him or start teaching about Moors. What happened to their quote unquote conscious community credibility? Down the drain. So don't get caught up that we can't do our own stuff. We're under occupation. So things work best as a conglomerate, as a corporation, as a crew. You want to be Lone Ranger right now. It's not wise. That's very incompetent, being Lone Ranger right now. You're not part of no Moors or nothing like that? No group of Moors? You're just out here doing whatever? You're not in the chat right here, Moors building with each other, nothing like that? You're not part of that? You're just floating out here. Well, this is my birthright, so I'm going to... Unity is a must. It's a must. And this is what it's about. Because trust me, I ain't got no bank account in Kudrow or whatever. For what? I'll put my free national name in these people's corruption. To do what? I'm not taking my stuff. If I got straw right there, the straw could be in that jurisdiction. All right, all rights reserved. Everything, without prejudice, whole stuff. Well, that's old business. I'm not tainting the pristine free national name in these people's corruption they've been running on me all my life through birth certificates, licenses, and all those stuff. Me personally. That's why free national name has nothing to do with none of that stuff. That's old business. Zero. Only thing, if they try to pull something, then all rights reserves is now enforced and is not ex-relation anymore. It's free national. And you know, the argument, bring the contract. So I can show you all rights reserved right there. So you try to hold somebody liable, that's corporate activity. That has nothing to do with me. Do whatever you want to do with that. But don't put that over here. Was that the AKA that? No, it's not AKA. All rights reserved right there. Rights could only be reserved by a natural person, not a corporation. So you try to play whoever, but not playing me, because I know that's old business. And I know that when I got knowledge that, hey, I'm not that. All rights reserved. Everything. Doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. All rights reserved on it. Anything they pull. They go into a computer, all rights reserved. Big. Right? How to live within contract. Islam to Grand Sheikh nature. Because his lesson on that is what enforced me to deal with it like that. That opposed to put the free national name in that and then be free, because now I have it in the free national name, just reserve rights. You know, big deal. You know, me having a passport with all rights reserved is way different than a passport with no all rights reserved that somebody else has. When people say, how come he got a passport? And he's not, he said he's a Moor, but he got a license. Yeah, but all rights reserved on this license. So what's the problem? Why can't I use it? That has no bearing on me. I'm not paying these tickets if tickets go on this. That's not me. Who's that? That's the guy that they want. Oh, this is the guy? Oh, here's the card. There you go. Here, you have him now. So I got a nationality card right here. That's not me. See all rights reserved right there? That means reservation of rights. And I invoke all my inalienable rights right now. Aboriginal and Indigenous and autochthonous rights and constitutional and all the other rights that come with that. Because I know that that's old business. Right? Now, you know, if you got crazy stuff going on in your old business, you better deal with your BS and not try to think that, oh yeah, I'm more and I'm going to get out of the old business BS using the free national name. No, good try with that. Because when you go that route, they're going to test you to see how real you are claiming that you're not the one who owes the obligation. And Moors have, you know, been tested. Few pass the test. Few pass the test because few aren't really going to go that hard. Few aren't really going to go that hard. Right? So you always have access to those stuff. Just make sure you reserve your rights. Anytime you're using anything, anything, right? Care what it is, moving forward, don't you ever dare put that straw name down without reserving your rights. Don't even dare. I don't care how much they threaten you that they're not going to give you whatever. You stand on your right to reserve your rights. Because that's another way how they try to get you in the jurisdiction. Have you give up your right to reserve your rights. So if you give that one up, then you give up all of them. Because remember, every living thing is bound to accord, and rights are living. Rights aren't dead stuff. Rights aren't statutes and codes, privileges that these people give with their contracts. Rights are living. Rights breathe life. Don't think about, oh yeah, nah, just give that one up. If you give up one, you give up all. Don't forget Morris. You're from Missouri. Brother Yaya said for the Moors to check out the 1889 vintage poster by Barnum and Bailey. 1889 vintage poster by Barnum and Bailey. Shit, you got me wanting to see what the hell this shit is. Oh, really? They took it there, huh? They take it all over. I see they got the clowns with the cone feathers on. The clown with the cone fez. Barnum and Bailey, greatest show on earth. Football dogs. This is what these people were doing. This is what they were doing. Right? Jacking all your stuff. Having circus. Make sure, Morris, you can get it from anywhere. Once your eyes wide open, like it'll be everywhere and anywhere. It'll just be anywhere. You just stumble into truth. You know what the hell to do with yourself. Webster's New World Dictionary. Brother Navi Bay sent this one in. I don't know, Morris, these are just interesting finds, you know, when you are in your research and you bump into information. We have our email, canaanlandguide@gmail.com. You know, if there's anything intriguing that needs to be shared with the family, feel free to send in your stuff. Now we're going to country, noun, plural countries, Middle English, country, Old French, country, Latin, contrada, region, country. That which is beyond or over against, district. Contra, opposite. A tract of land, area, region, as wooded country. And then a land, whole territory of a nation or state. A land, whole territory of a nation or state. The people of a nation or state. The land of a person's birth or citizenship. Right? Birth, national, or citizenship. Birth, what Noble Drew Ali told you, or by citizenship. What these Moors are doing with Moors today, trying to tell them to join something. And you want to know how come things are going with, because they've been following people who aren't the prophet. In law, a jury, in reference to the fact that the jury was originally a group of men from the vicinity, jury trial was called trial by the country. You see why the jury has more power than a judge now? You see why they don't have jury trials in their little tribunals that they have people go to? Why? Because there's no such thing as a diverse country. And in U.S., the amount of different people who are going to be part of that jury, that can't qualify as a country. Ain't no country got all these different people. That's why they say jury of your own peers. Because it's really country. It's not really peers. It's really your countrymen. But if you were not birthed and were made a citizen, like all these other people out here that claim that they are who our people should call themselves. You see how it's a fraud, because they're not birthed. They weren't birthed as what they're claiming. Their ancient foremothers and forefathers don't go back to what they're claiming. But in law, a country. That's crazy. Jury. Jury. A country is a jury. That's crazy. But again, only because more study. Only because of studying. So we were telling you that everybody knows. Telling you that everybody knows. Brother Darrell Bay, the more who play around, will send him free. He has the cement truck. He playing with Moors. Moore had this thing in his basement. A picture painted on the wall of the Moorish flag, Mars, and Morocco. So a Russian comes there, TV man, to install something. The Russian, right? Remember, this is a Russian. A Russian sees the brother. And the brother has a Moroccan flag with Mars and Morocco painted on the wall. And the Russian asked the brother, "You're a Moor?" The Russian asked the brother, "You're a Moor? Not you Moroccan, not you African, not you black. Are you Moor?" The Russian now goes into a story. Remember how we said just now that you can get it anyway? Once your eyes are open, you're going to get it. It's going to be you who deny the facts of who you are. Not somebody out here on YouTube or whatever. It's going to be you. Because so many things would have been thrown at you to show you what's real. That if you turn away from it, the universe got something for you. Hold on, Moses. Let me see it. Oh. All right. Okay. All right. Right? So he's talking about he moved to Morocco as a child and him and his dad wore a fez. Remember, this is a Russian. This is a Russian. The Russian moved to Morocco when he was 7 years. Or lived there for 7 years. And him and his dad wore a fez. And he remembered that because he went to a Moor's house to install some stuff. And he's seen that on a wall. Now put yourself in his shoes. Forget the Moor's shoes. Because Moors already know what's up. Put yourself in that guy's shoes. Remember, he's not near Russia right now. But he's near Morocco. He's near Morocco to the point where he asked the Moor, "Are you a Moor? How come you didn't say African or nothing like that?" Why would you ask a black guy? Oh, because obviously he knows ain't no such thing as black guys. It's all about nationality. Just on to that more. Give thanks for that one. What more you want than that? Like what? What do you want than that? Russian telling you? Shh. Russian telling you. Doesn't know. Like who really doesn't know? Oh my gosh. These wars are killing people. You got this one out to the Morris, because these Morris needs to stop playing with Morris and leave Morris alone. Stop bothering Morris. Stop bothering Morris. They like to bother Morris too much, and then when Morris getting mad, then people wanna start talking BS. Are you mad? You were mad when you were throwing shots or whatever. Now Morris is standing up. Now people are mad. Morris are mad because they're not getting 10 G's on a video like Active Morris, who's standing up for birthrights. And oh yeah, we want to also say, shame on you, Morris Science Temple of Americas. Let SETI talk all that BS. And none of you guys said anything? All you guys? You rep Noble Juali so hard, you didn't defend anything? You just sat back like that's none of your business? Like he wasn't talking about your stuff? That you're taking people to court, you're suing them because they're using Qurans and stuff like that? But you're not going to defend anything when these traitors, these other dirty Moors, you're not going to try to get some credibility back. You guys just going to play the game, huh? All right. All right. If you remember, Sister Afia, that we did the last health series with, she just put out her midwifery book, Doula Diaries. Doula Diaries. I'll put the hopefully let me post the link in the chat. But sister's doing her doula work and got her book out. You know, again, it's not some slouch. You know what I mean? Sis go back on the consciousness, not on the BS, on the real stuff. You know what I mean? On the real stuff. And doing her doula thing. So make sure you support. Just a quick excerpt. The goal of this anthology is to eradicate all the myths and false perceptions of doulas and to cultivate adoration for this much-needed profession. I predict as we continue to progress into the 21st century and the respect for midwives and doulas will become more noble. Many are rekindling the original ways of birthing by our ancestors, who were the first midwives accompanied by aunts, grandmothers, and women now called doulas. A doula's non-judgmental, emotional, and informational support helps women to make informed decisions. The physical support a doula provides is vital to minimize the risk of unexpected medical interventions. The birthing doula is aware childbirth is an experience a mother will remember for life. She provides ongoing support and allows their parents to participate at whatever comfort level. A postpartum doula's role eases the woman's transition by providing breastfeeding support, newborn care, meal preparations, and coping skills. Postpartum care encourages couples to maintain a healthy unity and communication. I welcome doulas and midwives to share your passion, specialized health tip from your field of practice, and the unique way you support your client. I would love for clients who experience their care to show how working with a doula or midwife has been the best decision. It takes a village to raise a child, African proverb. So again, to get the book, lwlpublishinghouse.com/AFYA anthology / AFYA anthology / This is going in on them. Going in. Um, 300 plus fiat notes. Man, oh man, big bro. No one can do sacred geometry for another. We all must get through the path on our own Islam. I seen music video with my image in it and had others on there too. Man, they flap their red flannel so much. But Islam, staying focused, these Moors I just attach just bothers me because they have divine and national movement on the flyer as a no-no. Allah guides the movement. That was from Latif Bey, by the way. So again, this interfaith consular court, whatever being flown around, Moorish National Republic, Magistrate Mahdi Sufi L. These Moors were working with the city, all right? The interfaith court where you saw Moors in there, and there was a Moor with a black fez at the judge's desk, and there was a stenographer, and everybody's Moorish American and all that stuff. They worked for the stuff. That's why they're no longer doing their stuff. Because they were just used to distract people from the birthright. Right? Being a national republic for Moors. What Moors need a national republic for? Like, why would Moors need a national republic? Republic ain't for Moors. We're not European colonists. The Moors want republics now. And they want interfaith courts in the same jurisdiction of the people who are running court, what, 9 times more hours than they're running their little BS. How come their court only ran from 7 to 8 o'clock at night or something, one night a week or something like that? What kind of court is that? That Moors take that serious? These Moors could have went under a tree and called that court and have a better court. All these demons out here. Another Moor linked me. Tell me about these Moors in Detroit. Where these Moors are in Detroit? Some Moor Science Temple in Detroit. Always talking BS about the regulars. And when you start studying and realizing how many people have really sold out your birthright with a fez on, with a turban on, but they really sold out your stuff. You'll become more protective of your stuff. Right? When every time you go, you run inside the store, go buy your candy, you come out, your bike's gone, you start protecting your stuff. Especially when you know you're gonna get your ass bust when you go home, because that's your fifth bike that you lost. I keep buying you bikes. So don't lose your bike to these scoundrels. Don't. These thieves. My dad's on WhatsApp now and shit. So this guy's messaged me about some Umar Johnson. Like, hey, you know you jack some people out here for 5,000? Damn, I ain't heard nothing like that. But what the hell? What's wrong with them? Why did they cancel the check? Like, it doesn't work like that. I know you got WhatsApp, you think that you're, you know what I mean, on something, but no, you're still old school, yo. You're still old school. You don't even worry about how they got the money and all that stuff. Because you be talking about they're crazy doing that online. The real is a here. Hell, brothers are here. What's good, Mar? Send you an email right now so you could just give me a shout since you're out here. Since you're out here. Islam. Yeah, Omar's waking up. You know what I mean? And she's the new Moors with their eyes wide open again. The other round. New Moors with their eyes wide open again. Mother Khalifa told the Moors to check out the Senate report 93549. Senate report 93549. And dealing with primary sources. So making sure that when you're connecting with people with regard to any information relative to the birthright, make sure that you give them a source. Right? Remember, people have, because we get caught up in the build. We get caught up in the build and forget people got dictionary, all that stuff on their phone right now. We're going to talk their ear off to prove the point. Make them go in their phone and pull up whatever. Oh, you don't got data? Okay, here, use mine. And have them do it. Because when they see it for themselves what it is, then it's different at that point. It's different at that point. You know? That's crazy too, because that was a Lee Mel Bay lesson from when he came out here, and he was doing Reiki. He was doing Reiki and realizing how the energies and everything. That it's always energy. It's always a constant flow. Once you don't have the flow, tap right back in. Somehow, some way, find yourself tap back in. Don't fall off course. Don't stop the meditation. Don't stop the hum. Keep the hum going. Always make sure that you give them something that they retrieve. Let them retrieve it. Because it's going to be a bit like remember like one of the slights, for example, one of the hexing themselves rituals that make the so-called quote-unquote Hebrews fail is because they're always reading to somebody instead of letting the people read it for themselves to realize the truth in what's being said. But that's against protocol, right? Because they've been doing it that way for so long that us giving up the secret, they're still not gonna switch it. Because there's a difference when the individual gets it for themselves than when they're told. All right. Sister Cherise sending out her ritual for Mother Mandela, for making her transition. Winnie Madikizela Mandela, the former wife of Nelson Mandela and for decades one of South Africa's most prominent and polarizing figures, died April 2nd at a hospital in Johannesburg. She was 81. Her family confirmed the death in a statement and said she had been hospitalized for an illness earlier this year. She was beautiful and violent. Her bravery under the brutal apartheid regime won her lasting respect and adulation. Allegations that she was the kingpin of a deadly vigilante group during the 1980s earned her fear and mistrust. She at times harshly criticized the African National Congress, the political party that she also called her family, most recently condemning it for the continued economic disparity that has left millions of Black South Africans in poverty. Yet since the end of apartheid in 1994, she served many roles in the South African government, from Member of Parliament to the head of the ANC Women's League. Quick interjection. Islam to Supreme L, pardon the interjection. Make sure you go watch some builds. You know that you're dealing with colonization when you're talking about South Africa, but you have to specify Black South Africans. How come they didn't call them African South Africans? Why are they saying black? Because they're playing the game for over there to get those people used to the connotative fraud. That anywhere over there, once they mention that place, they're going to be talking black and white in that. As that's what those people are there, because there's Europeans there who live there. So they're American, I mean South African. So since they're South African, then they're white South Africans. And those ones over there are the black ones. And everybody cross their legs and shut their mouth. You can play their little game. In the late 2000s, she emerged again as a leading political player. She was one of the top vote getters to the ANC's executive committee, and in 2008 was listed in the number 5 slot on the party's parliamentary ticket, above many other senior politicians and cabinet members. Fraud convictions, insubordination, and allegations of crime from corruption to murder all seemed at different points to spell her downfall. Yet, Miss Madikizela Mandela always rebounded. I learned to deal with the police, to be tough, to survive. I want you to know where I come from so you can tell where I'm headed. I'm like thousands of women in South Africa who lost their men to cities and prisons. I stand defiant, tall, and strong. May you rest in paradise, peace, and power. September 26, 1936 to April 2nd, 2018. Islam for that. Peace and love. And rest in peace to Craig Mack too. That was a crazy one. And then this guy not even going to the funeral and stuff. You already know certain people don't care. But yeah. Oblique Tucker. Islam Kudro, thanks to you for all your work. Supreme honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. My question is about the Ruddy Red Indians. Could you give any information on their origin? Well, the Red Indians are the Asiatic mix that created those guys. Remember, they're late people. And then remember, when you deal with the Buddhist tradition, they've been over here before some other people calling themselves Indians and all that. And of course, the highly melanated that's been here from the beginning. And then as the Europeans came, then those quote unquote red Indians, you realize those are the ones who the Europeans had a better relationship with, and then they were able to do the treaties with them because, you know, they were the, right, that's the late story. Right, remember these people came late. It was predominantly our jurisdiction. Very recently did Europeans even come here. Very recently. So some of the mix that we see, that just happened recently. But remember, the whole concept is to make you think that there's red Indians and not think that the real red Indians would be the red bones that you see among the black people that they say light skin. Those would be the real, just like the real European would be yellow man, the albino. Like that would be the real European if we're talking about our world. When it was our world, the European was the albino, right? That would have been the one that was quote unquote cast out because he didn't look like everybody else and all of that. Not some blonde hair, blue eye from Caucasus. So remember that the Negro black colored people are the Indians. Every olive, from red olive to black olive. And these so-called Negro black colored people know that they're the Indians. Go ask Master P and all those New Orleans guys, rapper guys. See if they don't tell you. So like when we talk about the origin of the Indians, we really talk about Negro black colored people. That's the origin. The red Indians that we see today, those people are late people. That's why they could just say, oh yeah, they're on a reserve or whatever. But they didn't really, don't got numbers like that. Because the real natives are the Negro black colored people. Now imagine all those people said, oh yeah, we're native. That changes everything around here. Everything changing immediately. If all the Negro black colored people came to their senses and realized that they're the Aboriginal people, they're the Indians, things will change immediately. That's because it has to. But again, the divine has bigger plans. The divine is not interested in all these people waking up at one time. Those who seek will find. Only those. Everybody else, they're on their own. Because they should be seeking. But since they choose not to seek, then, they'll be the prey. Now somebody else is seeking out for whatever it means. And you could also go to When Rocks Cry Out, Horace Butler, The First World Order, Alim El Bey, and what's the other one called? All Americans Aren't African or something. Can't remember the title. Can't remember the title of that one. The books are way over there. But yeah, but definitely First World Order. You'll definitely find some reference points in that. And When Rocks Cry Out, Horace Butler. If you could find any Nuwapian Moors newspapers, it has to be Nuwapian Moors newspapers. At the top, it'll say Nuwapian Moors newspaper. If you could find any of those had lots of articles about Aboriginal, indigenous culture and history. Those had lots of articles on that. Info. Okay, so somebody sent me a picture of a Maxim Moor Empire. Oh my gosh, you see these Moors? These Moors are doing such good stuff and all that stuff. Don't get caught up. Don't get played. Right? Remember, these people don't rep Noble Drawley, so they don't even hear them. They're talking about their Moors or anything like that. If they're not repping Noble Drawley, if they're gonna coin their own money and put somebody on it other than Noble Drawley, the Moors dirty. You don't want those Moors. You don't want to do anything with them kind of Moors. Noble Drawley told you what your flag is, and then some Moors are gonna come with a flag and try to convince you that no, that's really the flag that Noble Drawley brought. Because the Moroccan flag, the Moroccans have that flag. And that flag can't be your flag because that's the Moroccan flag. So you hear them start talking like that and all that, you know they don't ride with Noble Drawley. And if they're not riding with Noble Drawley, could pretty much consider them turned in their card of button and they're just playing around with you. Like, you know, they're just playing Mr. Dress Up. They're not really down. They should be down, but they're not really down. You know, it looks appealing because they got the, you know, they got the fatigues on and they got the shirt with the vest. They're like, oh damn, these Moors looking like they got it going on. These Moors got it going on. Don't be fooled. Those Moors tell you some BS about RV Bay Publications. Those Moors tell you some BS about Taj Tariq Bay. Are you listening to them? You don't take those Moors serious? Those are the Moors? The Moors talking BS about the people who've been around putting this work in? Have you thinking works? Remember at all times that this is about your birthrights. This is not something that somebody can give you like that. They could lead you in the direction. They can help you along the way. But you are going to have to walk the path. You are going to have to walk the path. Okay? Brother Hassan Ghazi Al-Bey sent Poor Richard an almanac for the year of Christ. archive.org/details/Poor Richard Alman 00FRAN. archive.org/details/Poor Richard Alman ALMAN 00FRAN. If anybody has any more questions, you could send those. If not, let's see what we got to lead out. What we got here. All right, let's see. Moorish. More monsoon. More. Moorish, Morocco, Murad. All right. This is Pirates of the Barbary, Corsairs, Conquests, and Captivity in the 17th century Mediterranean. Adrian Tinniswood. Adrian Tinniswood. The American prize crew that boarded the crippled frigate took 406 prisoners, many of them wounded. They were sitting quietly on the cabin floor below decks, smoking their long pipes with their accustomed gravity. About 30 had been killed, including the commander, and only then did the Americans realize what they had done. That commander was none other than the legendary Hamidou Reis, the most distinguished fighter in the Algerian fleet. For years, Hamidou had been celebrated all over Barbary as the master of the seas, the champion of the holy war against the infidel. Now, he was dead. The Americans killed the last of the great corsairs. The United States was left with no alternative but to embark on its own negotiations. In 1786, John Adams, then the U.S. Minister of the Court of St. James, U.S. Minister to the Court of St. James, held a series of meetings with Abdurrahman, the Tripolitan ambassador in London, who told him a perpetual peace between their two nations was perfectly possible. It would cost a mere 30,000 guineas, and he let it be known he expected the Americans to pay him a commission of £3,000 for arranging it. The conversation, said Adams, was carried on in a strange mixture of Italian, lingua franca, broken French, and worse English. Abdurrahman went home without his compensation, and John Adams went home without his treaty. In 1794, the United States government set aside $800,000 partially as ransom for 100 slaves who had been captured by Algerian corsairs since America had lost the protection of Britain in the Mediterranean, and partly as tribute to the Dey and his officials in return for agreeing to a peace treaty. Joseph Donaldson, the Philadelphian sent to Algiers to negotiate with the Dey, was not an obvious choice for a delicate diplomatic mission. A middle-aged, sour, and rather surly man, his gout was so bad when he arrived in Algiers in September 1795 that he needed a crutch to walk and had to wear a huge velvet slipper on his infected foot. Nor was his temper improved by his being made to limp unaided all the way from the harbor to his lodgings, or by the curious crowd which followed him every step of the way, or by the fact that when he finally reached his house, he had to climb a long flight of marble steps to reach his apartment. When he got there, he collapsed on the couch, threw off his hat, and swore so long and so loudly that one of the Algerians asked in amazement what was happening. What was the infidel saying? The ambassador is only saying his prayers and giving God thanks for his safe arrival, he was told. His devotion is very fervent, replied the Algerian. The Corsairs' conquest and captivity. In the 17th century Mediterranean. What's we got around here? African American religions, 1500 to 2000. Colonialism, democracy, and freedom. Sylvester A. Johnson. African American religions, 1500 to 2000. Colonialism, democracy, and freedom. Moorish Americans. The Moorish Science Temple of America, founded by Timothy Drew, also began to assert a Black ethnic identity during the era of Garveyism. Drew would come to identify himself as Noble Drew Ali, the divinely inspired messenger, or prophet, whose message to the so-called Negroes achieved its salvific efficacy primarily through its relation or its revelation that Blacks possessed a distinctive nationality. At the heart of this message was the proclamation that these so-called Negroes were in fact Moorish Americans, descended from the ancient Moabites, among whom the biblical character Ruth was celebrated, an ancestor. By adopting the term Moorish, Ali was able to exploit a rich etymological history that had been used by Europeans until the 19th century to denote Muslims who were not necessarily Black, particularly those inhabiting the Iberian Peninsula since the 8th century, and Blacks who were not necessarily Muslim, often interchangeably. Ali taught that Moorish Americans possessed an ancient history and had practiced a distinct ethnic religion, Islam. As a prophet, he presented to these Moorish Americans their own divinely prepared scriptures, the Circle 7 Quran, which related some history of the Moabites and other Canaanite peoples, and also described the activities of Jesus in Asiatic lands. Ali proclaimed to his followers that they possessed a distinctive ethnic heritage. He believed that if Black Americans embraced their true Moorish nationality, as he termed it, the U.S. government under which they lived and all other nations would respect them and would regard them as a dignified people with a history who merited respect. Yeah, well, yeah, they're going in on Noble Drew Ali and the prophet. And you, Moorish Americans, For this reason, the MSTA emphasized that members must claim a free national name to be an American citizen. Terms such as colored or Negro were slave names, not free national ones. The response to Ali's message of Moorish redemption was considerable. In Chicago, where Ali first incorporated the MSTA in 1925, Moorish Americans commanded public respectability until Ali's suspicious death in 1929. Their public celebrations of an ancient Moorish heritage drew large crowds that included local political leaders. Ali established a factory to produce oils, incense, soaps, and other Moorish products, the sales of which buoyed the religious financial base. Moors had incense and soaps. So Moors had incense, Moors had soaps, and people are wondering, where are your stuffs at? I mean, you should be able. From New York City to Kansas City, Kansas to Belzoni, Mississippi, MSTA members established temples and vibrant communities of converts with a bold message of ethnic renewal. End note. Noble Drew Ali also taught that Jesus was a Moabite and thus a member of the Canaanite nation. Part of his basis here was that the genealogical claim in Matthew's gospel that Jesus' ancestry can be traced to Ruth, the Moabite nation. From the 700s to the 1900s, most European languages employed some form derived from the Spanish Moros, Morin, Moors, M-A-U-R-E-S, Mori, M-A-U-R-I, Morin, Moors, Morin, Blackamoor, Moor, Moro, or Moro to denote Muslim conquerors in the Iberian Peninsula and eventually to identify blacks throughout Africa, but primarily North Africa and Europe, but not black Muslims exclusively. The English term Moor, for instance, was also implied to denote simply Muslims, Berbers, or Syrians. The slippage that lent use of the term to denote dark or black applied not only to people but also objects, rendering terms like Moorish or black coffee. I remember the slippage that lent use of the term to denote dark or black, the slippage. The slippage so Moor, meaning black, is language slippage. They urge followers to reject the semiotics of so-called Negro identity. and to instead to reclaim a heritage that stretched from ancient Palestine to Arabia and the Muslim empires of Eurasia and Africa. Especially important were the concrete elements of the religion that symbolized ethnic difference. Followers received a change in name by adding the suffix "bey" or "el" to denote their Moorish ancestry. They paid their nominal membership dues and in exchange received membership cards certifying that their identity was not Negro but Moorish American. Male members wore fezzes to distinguish themselves from other Americans. Men and women also donned robes in keeping with the Eastern style of dress. Of inestimable importance, furthermore, was the Circle 7 Quran, the MSTA's book of scripture that Ali himself published. This, in addition to the instructional literature of the religion, grounded followers in a compelling worldview that identified them not merely as victims of anti-Black racism, but also as a distinct people, Asiatic people, whose past stretched beyond the destructive episode of American slavery and whose mission was to reclaim their lost heritage. You think they don't know what's up and what's supposed to be going down? We'll just read that again. Of inestimable importance. Inestimable importance. Furthermore, was the Circle 7 Quran, the MSTA book of scripture that Ali himself published. This, in addition to the instructional literature of the religion, grounded followers in a compelling worldview that identified them not merely as victims of anti-Black racism, but also as a distinct people whose past stretched beyond the destructive episode of American slavery and whose mission was to reclaim their lost heritage. Right? But they don't know that we're Moors. They don't know. They really don't know. If you really think they don't know. The 20th century, by contrast, saw the robust expression of this sentiment most vividly among the Black ethnic religions. Within the Moorish Science Temple, this claim that Christianity was alien to African Americans was explicitly advanced in Noble Juwali's Circle 7 Quran. Ali located the origins of Christianity within the Roman Empire. Christianity, in his theology of history, was the religion of the pale-skinned European Romans who executed the Moabite prophet Jesus, whose mission, according to Ali, was to rescue the Jewish nation from rule by the pale-skinned nations of Europe, thereby effecting an explicit salvation from colonialism. As the Circle 7 Quran explained to readers, European Christians, after executing Jesus, enjoyed a peaceful existence for many centuries until Muhammad I arrived on the scene to fulfill the will of Jesus. They know that much? They know all that. They know all that. Cambridge University Press. Let them put it out there. Like, let them put it out there. Didn't hear nothing about any Aquarian gospel. None of that. None of that F stuff right there. None. Played no part in this. Played no part. Well, Morris. Got through another one. So just make sure. I mean, those people out there listening, don't worry about people who talk negative against Moors. Forget them. And then when it comes to Moors, don't be worried about Moors trying to sell you some package or trying to make you think this is some tribal or whatever, or trying to make you join up to something, right? Or trying to make you think this is some religious whatever. Don't fall for it. Beg you not fall feet. Not fall feet. Playing you. Do not let them play you. You have a right not to be played. What are you talking about? Do not let them play you, especially out of your birthright. Because trust me, you soon realize that your birthright is all you got. You'll soon realize that your birthrights, that's all you got. Keep playing. Nothing else is going to work eventually but your birthrights. And you better have been studying to know what to do with your birthright. And remember that no one can give this to you. You are going to study. You're going to study to know what this is. We made sure and connected with the right people so that our job is to make sure you get the right stuff. Our job is not to send you on wild goose chase for stuff that ain't out there. Right? Trust me. Our whole play is to make sure Other thing is to make sure that you get the true, make sure you get the true, this is your birthright, right? This is your birthright. To go out nomoredaily.com at Guinness new article or Guinness new ad for whatever. Some are made of more. And then keep in mind nomoredaily.com. Make sure you check out No More Daily. Make sure you leave your comments on the stuff. You know what I mean? Don't be shy. You're supposed to help people know more daily. That's why the stuff is there. So you go and comment on the stuff. Right? Islam, brother. Sister Karima, just let you know that we got the stuff. We got the stuff. The Moors are going nuts. We got the stuff. So we're gonna let you know what's good with the next batch. And Moors, don't forget, MHHS Eyes Wide Open. Call the number 425-569-4201. 425-569-5201 and 347-945-5899. 347-945-5899. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Give thanks for your time and energy. If you're looking for some classes or whatever, just email canaanlandguide@gmail.com. Lectures, Skype lectures, phone lectures, whatever. You got questions, canaanlandguide@gmail.com. If you're feeling the hip hop, you know, you can go to willofallah.com. Most of the stuff is up there. At least buy one album. See what's good. See what these Canaanland Moors are talking about. This music stuff, talking like they know something. Make it a rhyme or something. See what's good for yourself. khalifamedia.com. Kudro L books up there. Make sure you go check. At least go get 77 amazing facts of the Moors. Kudro L and Rami Salam L. At least go to get that and go get the Moorish jewels like Rami Salam L. Of course, RV Bay publishedinfo.net. Make sure you get some. You know, make sure you go to moorsandmasonry.org and go get that. Yeah, it's $50. Yeah, I know. But trust me. When you say they got what's that one called? When you say they got the forgotten cause of 1500, just go look up that book, The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War. Right? So put some respect on Brother Abdullah's name. Go get his book, even though it costs $50. And even though Brother Liam's book might cost 60 to 100 or whatever, go get that too, First World Order. And then don't forget, you might as well just go to RV Bay Publications again. You know what I mean? And get some stuff off there. And then you can also go to moorishdirectory.com and get free stuff. You don't have to pay. Islam to all the Moors. Oh yeah, and if you wanna make some donations or whatever, culturaleducators@gmail.com. Culturaleducators@gmail.com if you want to make a donation. And again, want to send a big shout out to all the international Moors, the Moors out North America, Central America. I want to say Islam to all you Moors. Peace and love to you all, wherever you're at. And of course, all the Moors on the mainland. Islam to all you Moors. All the Moors on the mountain tops of sunken Atlantis. Islam to all you Moors. Peace and love again. And we're about to get into our closeout music before MHHS. Eyes wide open. Peace and love, Moors. And again, for all the new Moors, don't be shy. Send your questions so you can get some answers from some Moors out here that you can trust their sources. Peace and love. Islam.
Moorish Master MC. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all rappers. Yo, you did it with this one. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all rappers. Rap inquisitor, general, torture, a rapping dummy. Wearing eyeshadow, piercing his tongue and tummy. Piercing their lips and wearing gay earrings, king. One was bad, but now y'all are killing it, king. Some rappers taking it, some giving it, king. Just to have a whip in a mansion, be living it bling. Living it artificial, acting like clones. When I hit you by text, I don't mean by phones. Moorish squad bomb rappers on tracks like drones. Like casual, I didn't mean to put bats to your dome. Splitting numbskulls, squashing pea brains. No leave nails on fingers when I does it. Little chicken McNuggets, rapping meal toys. Got young gods clapping, leave you lip like steam back. Troy asking what's happened, like you didn't know or expect it. For talking that misleading trash on all your records. Moorish MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. Around too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and birds on microphone masters. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all rappers. Moorish MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. Around too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and birds wearing skirts, I clap you cause I don't give a fuck about none of y'all rappers. There's nothing you homo rappers do that surprise me. Rapping inquisitor make you eat poison ivy. Trimbago hot sauce all in your eyes for burning. For not teaching on mics that for Masons they learning. Rap black Nazis and you're not even German. Rather rap heads with t-shirts than Moorish turbans. Turning Heru logos to American eagles. Gold loose rope chains. Only songs about cocaine. Cough syrup and liquor mix you whack DJs. Still stacks of vinyl crates if we play. Don't believe anything or follow what cheeks say. I study. Keep my album sides broken and some sides bloody. Burn rappers like crosses in front of your homes. Moorish Ku Klux Klan and stomping on lawn gnomes. Throwing hip-hop award bricks to rappers' windows. Most hip-hop songs are just commercial jingles. Moorish MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. Around too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and birds on microphone masters. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all rappers. Moorish MC of the year, some say I'm a jerk. Around too much truth and the feelings got hurt. You rapping early and birds wearing skirts like clap because I don't give a fuck about none of y'all rappers.
It's like full-blown war, really get the all, get it wrong, coming forth strong like the bit is on. Salute to the God Abaddon. they know like I'm a sheep. Giving out the knowledge in the stars and in the streets to the ones that seek. Yes, the meek will inherit. It's truth, I don't fear it. Turn up my speakers, little louder so you can hear it. Don't be fooled by my appearance, I am clearing up the record. No, we ain't finished yet. Slaughterhouse for these dummy rappers who ain't been a threat. I'm dumping all your records to the curb. I'm bringing back the classics. Give me J. Rue, that brass tag shit. I'm bumping MOP and that boot camp click. I'm crushing all you candy rappers. And yo, if seeing is believing, I ain't sure that none of you harder than my breakfast. Tea and crackers.
Warriors of the year, some say I'm a jerk. Around too much truth and your feelings got hurt. You rapping early and words on microphone masters.
I'll get some secret about memory down there.
Warriors of the year, some say I'm a jerk. Around too much truth and your feelings got hurt. You rapping early and words wearing skirts like clap with guys.
I'll get some secret about memory down there.
So I just want to get you in. What? I'm rocket. Who says we ain't in the building? Who says we ain't into building? We the Morris Master Masons, architects for your children, rapping Friday 30s like Jason without the killing. But we promote life, oh, it's all about the feeling. And we invoke light, yo, we them light beings. Though you might see him on the block getting his portion, might be talking to cops, giving them caution, occasionally wearing his vest when he's walking. See the turning heads, whispering, gawking. But he's locked in, and he's zoned out while we boxed in our own house.
Study the mystics, the adepts, the magi. Wisdom of the ancients can all calcify eyes. Possible mission, free mental numbness. Extract the substance with minds of dumbness. Use the source, don't care what's up purport. As we know by being told, man knows not. Many before the floor, souls got bought. Placed in the devil's hands, ruling the second land. Dogma rituals, Negro spirituals, brainwash subliminal, peace thinking to a minimal. It's still criminal, in a world digital so pitiful. Mental survival so critical, it's visible. Can you see past righteous wrong? And comes with waves of cyberpunk. No need for cell phones, they speak from saw pounds. It's nothing for alarm, trips and forearms.
Wind, brass, and bass, such a beautiful serenade. Women feeding me grapes, I'm feeding the guinea serenade. Whether the sky is clear or gray, rain when you hear a fake, giving life you see. Speaking through who not here today. Show you the future in a glance. Again, I just look to these holes like hallucinatory depths. Sun walk the desert, been marvelous since I found God. Look back, used to see his prince. Forget being a prince, I'm a G. OD, grown man, no jokey. Denying you don't know me. Don't make me tap into the old me. That's like a couple hundred years. Walk around town with a couple hundred peers and release the peace of obvious. The sun gon' shine for what tears. This young brother here just trying to get his third eye clear.
Morse don't sleep, invest in your mind, body, and unleash. Real life rap, spitting over tracks, conscious thinking and living a dead attack. Morse don't sleep.
As the moon sets, the sun takes its place. It spoons on blocks, inspired spots, filled spaces. Peel back, rats, who got cases. Fire stain the corridors of flammable faces. Game changers, rule benders, and no pretenders. Style benders, no my optic lenses. Send the message to our veterans. Soldiers up and get it in. We on our birds, we on birds, subliminal beings. Third eye seeing, still I participate unwilling.
They wanna break me, shake, bake, grade me. Rolling with my main G, double OMG. SON is crazy. For a minute that you think you could take me for a fool like a native to his land, being schooled by a foreign dude. You mistaken me. Spiders on the roof, in the drug tools. I be saying you mistaken me. You better move for our market. Power pin is my tongue, your existence the target. Revealing all lies and deceit on the market. Genocide, carry around in pockets, I knock it down, bulldozer. David to Goliath, it's an exposure. Out some big heads ruling and it's getting closer to your downfall. Round up all your soldiers.
Little homie, I was seeking a fortune, tired of misfortune. I just wanted a portion, everything that I never had, though I needed my portion. Blowing like porcelain, haters cracking the porcelain. Getting broke, tired of being broke. How we get quiet, hope with the deep still as a dope. Just to keep us afloat, mine is deep as the boat. Brain is a lethal weapon, we want it to elope. When I speak, I provoke. Walk in the room with my aura feeling like heavy smoke. Feel like when they let me roll under my Louis Vuitton, the semi coat. Cause then we capture the kick the boy, you ain't a joke. The cost of living, how you property. The private prison, these little girls are sunny bodies just to pay tuition. These little niggas, sunny niggas just to build condition. It's like this thing you never ended with the intermission. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and make one plan. I wanna free the world, but I'm one man. A couple ones like me and one plan.
Roots K, hello, hello. Mic flow, fly, fresh, and responsible. One love divine, and I bring salutations. Power, sing, yes, it's all in the nations. Numbers and so flow, we heard in the streets. The monster in me, it don't accept defeat. Launched in a classic motion. Picture this ride wave across the ocean. Explosion, riddle them soft emotions. Encounter the master's truth revealed. You could not divide our stanza, signed and sealed. Roots K and I resonate. Airwaves, so paved path for your memory. Ancient days, many ignore the answer. Stay a slave, I'm free, it's a melody. Bring more love in my tune, cause jealousy couldn't get ahead of me. Real line legacy, my flow, see magic, but Mikey a wizard. We fly fresh and responsible. Man, I get it in unstoppable. Something like Usain Bolt, I'm ready on the start line. Moving past slow ones, I'm here like it's my time. Let's go. Fist in the air, yes, classy rebel. Bass clap, move crowds, I can rock a fellow. Horror female, let's get into detail. Sound, power, purpose, words not to fail, but to elevate. Raise, cheat, concentrate. It's real energy. Lay low, rise the stakes. I boom speakers, ignite kundalini ethers. Move hips, twist spines. I'm your yoga teacher. Divine dance eyes walk over me and greet you. I love doing me, sing prophecy. Band symphony, serenade the memory banks. Export the rhymes, live for the I work hard to be the boss, taking charge. Keep cool in the streets, real easy on that club hop shit. Roots, heat mics, ride a new wave, bang, who could do it like this? I am who I say I am. Roots live from the dot, and I say I am the realest. Those connect to know and feel it. Roots flow in your face, no Victoria's Secret. Mirror, mirror, reflection is beauty. You ain't ready for a revolution, please excuse me. Know where you stand, cause my hand could get grand. Just this bang on the land fire. Kuti, bring back the order, ordained by the universe. Many think the earth cursed, karma releasing her pain like a hoarder. Never will you stop, I eliminate borders. Soul is immortal. Open my mic on your conscience, exemplify omniscience. Ready for the world, no nonsense. I know about growing up in projects, and life ain't a joke. We moving up, progress, progress, progress. Yes, yes, yes. It's me.
So Stan, turn my phones up a bit. Ain't no change, it's the same. You still skylarking. Most got stepdaddies like Harden. They harden, fixed in their ways, they too hardened. Some got convictions, even if they apply. They the victims, ain't getting no pardon. Almanac is in the pen, middle finger to the warden. Free your mind, even though your body barred in. This war that I'm starting, might not want no pardon. That's what I do. That's what I If you're scared, stay far then. I'm prepared, ain't handing my card in. What they wanna call black is soot. Burnish bronze on the foot, charred in. Hydrogen molecule with the carbon. If you dare take a walk through the garden, center stage for the role that I'm starting. I'm more in Black Knight like Martin. Soar, take flight like a Martian. I'm Thor, gladiator, Spartan. Still polite, a gentleman, charming. Presence like the Red Sea when it's parting. Kundalini energy when I'm charging. Like power and the force of a car wind. You know the type when you gotta keep your arm in. Why fight when you know saying now? We never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. From day one to day done, I'm here. I never fear. You never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. Been running this from year to year. I stay prepared. Top ranking,
top charting. We have it by the sticks, crates, and the cartons. The highest grade of the strain that I'm sparking. Up late nights, Johnny Carson, early mornings. Remember starving, engraved in my mind. Carved in the running in the past. No harping, don't be afraid or alarmed by the barking. Keep it close by a very thin margin. Shadow box with a little bit of sparring. Cage fights when you fence, then you barred in. No cavalry, desperado charging. Never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. From day one till day done, I'm here. I never fear. You never ever could compare. Let's make it clear. Been running this from year to year. I stay prepared. Clean up the hot, don't come. Cleansing the fire, don't burn. Keep up the pace, don't run. Empty out when it's out, gotta go. Clean up the hot, don't come. Cleansing the fire, don't burn. Keep up the pace, don't run. Empty out when it's out, gotta go.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster? Gangster? Gangster?
Black power my ass, y'all just playing the ass posing, frontin', no bustin', no dirty cock gun button. At least more's right, rich, trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, fences up and turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, so or more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing, telling maggots accuse themselves or get sued. Civil right leaders, unconscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic of people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaanland, we call y'all bright and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder. While most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat nervous court reporters in Admiralty maritime shores. Moors walk on water. Engines return with mental kills, no sight blurred while they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster?
The forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and pain. You should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisition is enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims at Oval Office entrance. Into the entrance masters, keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling blacks, acting like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give profits to take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Toffee, smoking a Dutch from the same master. Bully stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks while you face proposing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? You say you're a gangster?
If you got guns and use them on targets moving. Try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work, but Coons disapproving. Khalid calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and want to show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, or will wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and gloves. Shot in the back, I'm watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds like small. Before son's death, listen to mother. Listen to common exercise in his 5 senses. To end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching. The only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster? Gangster?
Don't ask me if it's a just war. That's not up to us. To us, it's just war.
Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Crossing enemy lines, war morals and tango. Once they show me the ropes, I show you warrior strangle. Separate bodies, 6-degree angles. High caliber grip when he rambles. From his tip, bionic lip equipped with the handles. Could have careers crippled in shambles. As Vandal, Michael Jordan fans know. Nobody fucking with my ammo. Nightmare to the son of Samuel. Spit with the camels, my energy's camel. Anger I channel, use it like a radical Tamil. Got trying to resist terrorists, then my hammer spat at your panel. Weapons are formed, had to dismantle. Handle it manual, left it to God, I'm on the path to a manual. Such a thrill to fill up a life giver. I catch your body, I deliver. You catch your body, you a killer. So I'm not your typical nigga. Every time I rhyme, I pull a trigger. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Not like a Uzi, I'm a broken toolie in a ghetto movie. Might explode if you let them use me. Usually cool, I.E. to identify me. You should probably be thinking highly. Trying to find wisdom where I be. While I be dodging, listening, missing the missiles whistle by me. Wonder what they pay to try to buy me. Kingfisher play to ban me. Got me thinking all I need is my family. Sometimes I think all I need is a Grammy to cure the Alzheimer's, to cure my granny, and anyone who understand me, even the ones that try to ban me. We all kids if the world is candy. Watch what you hand me, I won't let you hang me. I'm never going back to that place again. On a new path, not a pace of sin. You should play it back, you should take it in. I tied up one of my homies' legs, one of my homies' arms. Hope to die before losing my one and my only mom. Terror in my eyes, you worried about Saddam. I watch the temperature rise between us who get it on. When you hear the song, the message has no discretion. Pull up in the tank so the people know my aggression. Store Hannibal's weapon. Try to test him when class is in session. He'll dissect the lesson. Leave your body parts in the West End. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time. Alright.
Various things we learn as we live, like the experience, wisdom to give attention to that self that's in. Time has been the main form of this verse. Measurement is evident based on life's compliment that we were purposing. Still we're meant to do more. Whispers the voice at the core, which turns into a roar whenever we rhyme on the floor. Memories before now, happily reflecting how prophesizing or monopolizing like they do the cow. Correction, since they refer to deal with deception in all direction, it's full self-inspection into perfection. No perplexing, just speaking, respecting those that's teaching. Reflections that are reaching to that point where they preaching. The concept of borderlines, intertwine the outer angel, either inner demons, find my cons. Always ready to build, feeling the battle drills, knowing that we will do what's necessary to hail the ill to the mind of a soldier. Growing in the north colder, so consequently as we've gotten older, gotten bolder, rhyme solo when I hear trigger that pioneer spirit. Hear it, inform it, and spit it out a conduit, no doubt. We about profitable gain, Gucci check a league of change. Similar, you're not the same as those who just seek to get pain. Emphasizing time to strain, focusing on loss and pain. Tearing like the rain, we switch up add on as we maintain.
Military mind in the military time. Military mind in the military time.
Let them know. Islam. Let them know. Let them know. Moorish MC order. I'm a round table sheets.
7 days in a circle and 52 weeks. Dirty Moore's copycat and bite the prophet's speech. I'm L without taking a Hajj like Malik. In a group of solo like Raphael Sadiq. Walking over rappers like stepping over a creek. Exposing you dappers, dressing like Greeks. Showing off cheeks, thong wearing whale freaks. Suck like a leash. I'm the nerd that kicks sand on at the beach. Verbally your face I stand on. I'm back to teach. Learn a lesson as the piano soothes your mood. Lyrical weed, deep brain food, you turn God. Applying what I speak, the truth, they burn and lie through their teeth. Denationalized, jack for all your supplies and knowledge from the high priest on the mental highs. Bringing you light, giving you sight, close your eyes to pray. Get shackled at night, now they're giving you tripe. Tales of ox, feed of pigs and soup. You've been bamboozled, tricked, had and duped. Won't fight your own fight, but you join their troops, killing others around the world just to stay out the news. Won't fight your own fight, but you join their troops, killing others around the world just to stay out the news. Let them know. Use the mic to let them know. Let them know. What up, brother Hanif? Use the mic to let them know. This is like